Progress. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Get comfortable. Welcome in. Welcome everyone to Story Saturday. We are still in Remembering Through the Records. So we are reading the Akashic Records Made Easy by Sandra Anne Taylor. So this week we are reading chapter 7, The Power of the Present in Record Creation. So last week we were working with our records, learning more, identifying more about patterns that we had in our life. So we identified those, and then we were able to go back in and rewrite the record. So now we're going to learn how, once we've kind of rewritten our records, how can we then focus on the present, right? The things that happen here and now in the present, because they still have an impact on our Akashic records. So I'll give it just a minute for people to get in the room, and then I will start with the reading. So most of the chapters, there has been reading, and then there has been a few, at least one maybe guided meditation or an exercise. So in this chapter, there isn't a guided meditation per se. There's more exercises. So, excuse me. So this one is going to be mainly reading this time. And we're going to talk about, we're going into part 3 of the book, which is a universe of information and opportunity. So it's talking about how if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That was a quote from Nikola Tesla. So like I said, chapter 7 is really focused on the incredible power of the present moment in our record creation. And we're going to look at how the records live in kind of natural law, how our energy expands and attracts, our intention focuses our energy, right? So we're going to talk about that, present choices for future results, present records of thought and emotion, behavior, action, spirit, all the good things, right? All the good things. And then recording our energy in the present moment. So like I said, a lot of reading. A lot of reading. And then we are going to have an exercise. But this is more, like I said, it's not going to be a guided meditation per se. It's more of a kind of practice for you to do after you've taken in all the information from this chapter. So I will do my best to take a break when we need to take a break. If the reading gets long. Hello, Evie. So good to see you. Oh, here we go. My name is coming up as Casey Wilson again in the chats. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Hello, Christine. So good to see you. Trying to look at bubbles. I need my glasses off to see up close, but to see far away, I need my glasses on. So I'm constantly doing this like battle. All right, everyone. So because it is a long chapter, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If people filter in the room, they'll be able to catch up. All right. So the incredible power of present moment in record creation. So every single moment you are pouring information and energy into your own personal Akashic records. Your thoughts, your behaviors, your emotions at any given time are being written in the records of your life. Some people say that you shall be held accountable for each and every choice, but that seems far too punitive. Too much like a future trial passing down a condemning verdict, right? To represent the truth of what is going on. So the accountability can be found more in your soul's intention than in some like universal court. So it's the accumulation of your personal energy, consciousness, and choices that sets you on the path of learning. Your soul wants to move to a higher vibration and live a life that is conscious, honoring, and enlightened. A big part of the purpose of your personal records is to allow you to bring your intention to the higher goals, to heal the past, program the future, but most especially to make better choices about what you want to record in your present. So, in fact, the present is your best and only time to take action in any direction, whether it is spiritual, personal, or professional. Your Akashic records contain all of these directions and many more. Every single moment, you are writing records and creating energy. Every moment, you are living in some sort of consciousness, even if you're unconscious about what that may be. The profound power of the present moment is always within reach, and it's up to you to take a look at what you're writing now. So the records live in natural law. So the writer of the book says, I've been teaching the principles of manifestation and universal law for more than 20 years, and I firmly believe in the creative power of energy and consciousness. But it wasn't until I started investigating the Akashic records that I realized the extent of the creative force we wield in every moment of our lives. It becomes a very compelling motivation then to think about our energy and consciousness in terms of our present records creation. This is not just an abstract concept, but a clear act of setting down present vibrations in an energetic biography, a record of cause and effect that speaks our truth and reveals our potential consequences. Knowing this, the drive for unconflicted thought, peaceful and joyous emotions, combined with conscious and intended self-mastery, then become a primary focus in our lives. The understanding that we are always in the process of writing our personal records is a compelling reminder of our ongoing power of manifestation, influence, and creation. The consciousness creates your records and your reality. So your consciousness is a force in the world, right? That makes you a powerful force yourself. In spite of this truth, very few people take the time to consider what they are conscious of on a daily basis. Most people consider their lives to be a series of random situations that they simply have to deal with. But the truth is, their consciousness moves out into the universe, scripting many of the events that they are likely to experience. What you tend to focus on, what you expect on a day-to-day basis, even what you tend to think about most, all of these things indicate your consciousness direction and your record creation. So if you tend to focus on what's wrong with your life, then that goes into your personal records and into your consciousness creation. If you tend to think about what's missing, expecting poverty, mistreatment, or dismissal, that also goes into your present records and your consciousness creation. In essence, you are writing the play and yet wondering why the scenes are not to your liking. But if you tend to focus on all the wonderful things in your life, that consistent focus will script more wonderful things to experience. If you tend to feel grateful, consistently acknowledging what you already have, that consciousness will write a record destiny where you continue to manifest even more to be grateful of. So I'm going to stop here real quick for a second because, I know we have a lot to get through, but I also want to mention that she's not talking about this, what do they call it now? Toxic positivity, right? She's not telling you to pretend like all your problems don't exist. She's not telling you to pretend that you haven't been through bad things or that things don't happen. That's not what she's saying. She's saying, be grateful, find little things to be grateful for, focus on those things. We're not pretending things are perfect and rosy all the time, right? But we're also finding things and focusing things on the things that we want or the small things that we can be grateful for. So get up every day and take a moment to consciously write the expectation of happiness in the day to come. Then make a concerted effort to record happiness in your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Remember that the future is full of endless possibilities. And if you bring a joyous, trusting, and grateful consciousness to your record creations today, you will reap the rewards of countless happy sensations written in the records to come. After all, your present records vibrate with your own personal energy, moving outward in all directions, sending out signals of who you are and what you really expect. Oh, hi, Aurora. How are you? Oh, you really love the Rick Hansen session, but then I never read the book. I wonder if you plan to read it again. I actually don't, Aurora. It's an amazing book. It's absolutely wonderful, and incredibly helpful for people. But after sitting with it, and then I had to take, I think I had to take a day. I had to take like a week or something off. I kind of was sitting with it, and I was sitting with where my energy is right now. And where my energy is right now is more kind of in this realm. So I decided to kind of switch gears. So I certainly apologize to the people who had come to the Rick Hansen session and were wondering if there would be more, but not at this time. All right, so we are going into your energy expands and attracts, right? So we are energetic beings, and we are constantly creating, transmitting, receiving energy in the world. In fact, we have our own personal energy field, right? A signature resonance that moves outward into space and time, connecting with people and situations of similar resonance, right? Eventually, those people and situations will be drawn into your life in very real ways, filling in your personal records and influencing the ultimate direction of your life. There are two major elements that contribute to the resonance that you are constantly broadcasting. They are the vibrations of your feelings or your emotional energy, and the vibration of your thoughts or your cognitive energy. So these are inextricably connected, for it's largely your thoughts that create your emotions. So our thoughts are constantly sending out these vibrational messages, right, about us, through like thoughts of self-criticism, worry, and fear are the biggest energy busters, right? And they write records of negation and doubt. So such thoughts will also create chronic emotions that kind of poison our energy field, right? Keep it down in this lower vibration, and they darken our record creation, not only now, but in future momentum as well. So if you tend to live a happy and joy-filled daily life, your emotional energy records, expectations of increasing bliss. If, however, you tend to live in chronic like anger, fear, dread, those energies are going to fill the records of your present life, rolling out volumes of the same in the future. So, and if such emotions go unchecked, they can expand into profound sadness or depression in present records and utter hopelessness about your future. But you have the power to shift your present experience and change your record in remarkable ways. The truth is, the quality of your emotional life is up to you, and the universe will respond to your higher intentions and healthier energetic choices. Greater love, happiness, and success will come back to you if you establish such things in the records of your life now. One key to a brighter record creation is a positive perception of yourself and the world, letting go of our self-doubts, right? Choosing to encourage and believe in ourselves, even if it seems foreign, right? Even if it seems foreign to us. At this time, you deserve your own high regard. And if you don't give it to yourself, self-love and respect will be missing from your present records. Oh, sorry. My phone fell. Will be missing from your present records, and that sad story is bound to come true. So it's also important to look at your future and the world as safe and even exciting. So choose to make choices and take action on your own behalf. Look at the world around you and see all that there is to appreciate and enjoy, which I know is really challenging at times, right? Because there's a lot of not so great things happening in the world. But know that you are strong and capable of making your goals and desires a reality. These are the records you really want to live in. The universe is a friend of yours and it wants to serve your intentions. So create the intention to experience and record happiness every day, even if it's in some small little way. So choose a joyous attitude towards your tasks and peace in your perceptions. Open yourself to the light and love that are already vibrating within the internal records of your beautiful spirit. These daily intentions will focus your energy, revealing true happiness in your personal records now and creating it in the time to come. So now we are at intention focuses your energy. So you live with intention every day and you record those intentions in your present life story. So whether they are honoring and fruitful or dishonoring and self-sabotage, those are totally different stories, right? You always have the opportunity to create clear emotional intention about everything you do. You can eat mindlessly or joyously. You can work resentfully or enthusiastically, right? You can get up dreading the day ahead or planning when and where you might be able to insert some excitement and fun. All of these are emotional intentions and they affect your energy and consciousness significantly. But if you continue to follow the path of least resistance, you will continue to live in emotions, habits, and these unconscious records that have their own momentum, whether they are healthy, honoring, or beneficial to you or not. It's clear that in order to create vibrant and healing records, we must bring our consciousness to our intentions and habits every day. We have the option to create these intentions, live in the emotions that we desire to focus on much of the time. We have the option to get out of our unconscious habits and create clear intentions in every present record. Even in the time that we usually dismiss as being unimportant, every moment is important. Every minute gets filed in our records. It's what we choose in the present that moves us relentlessly into the future. So, our present choices for future results. It's an energetic truth that ongoing choices we make in our daily lives accumulate to project our predominant personal resonance out into the future. It is therefore extremely empowering for us to be aware of our daily patterns, right? And to make conscious decisions about the kind of records that we're creating today. So all too often we fall into unconscious thoughts, right? Unconscious thoughts, unconscious behaviors, and even emotions that are actually writing our future record without understanding our awareness a lot of times. So when we look at our records of the present, we can find out exactly which of our patterns are building the biggest momentum of our lives. So investigate your records to determine what present patterns need to be changed. Always remember the multidimensional aspect of your energy production. It's your whole life force that moves out into time and space to forge your destiny. So consider all the elements of energy and consciousness creation when you do your present records investigation. So here are the important ones. So our present record of thought, right? Which she alluded to earlier. While it might become, oh, see, she gets to it. While it might become a cliche to say, think positively, it's far easier said than done. I feel like each and every one of us knows that, right? If it was that easy, there wouldn't be apps like this, right? So, yet, of course, there are lots of things to think positively about. To start with, you should be at the center of your positive thinking, allowing yourself to live with a self view that is both loving and encouraging. This is a core element of your present record creation. Everything revolves around how you write yourself, right? How we treat ourselves, how we talk to ourselves. All of these things are showing other people how they should talk to us, how they should treat us, right? So everything revolves around this story, right? That we're writing about ourselves, what we're putting out there. So something that you can do to change your thought records is to change your language. We've talked about this before. The words we use are so powerful. They script our entire lives, and they're certainly written verbatim in our records. So fortunately, our words are something that we can control when we set our mind to it, right? You have to think about it. You have to consciously be aware of the language that you're using. So see, it's a matter of consciousness and choice. So for example, there's a huge difference between the phrases I'm scared and I'm strong, right? Each could be used in response to a difficult situation, but the second is more empowering and would clearly create the best record. I'm strong is a simple yet powerful declaration that speaks your truth and informs you of your emotional options at a time when you may need to be reminded, right? In fact, there are many declarations that you can use to lift your energy and set yourself on a new path in any present moment. To assist yourself in this intention, oh, she was recommending another book, Power Words by Sandra Anne Taylor, which has countless techniques to change your record language and your life with higher vibrations. But those are also like affirmations that you can get right here on this app. You know, go listen to gratitude meditations, I am affirmations. Allison Potts has, oh, what are they? They're not I am. Oh man, I should know this. It's a different twist on I am, and I can't remember how she worded it, but I really like it too. I think it's what ifs. What if I today loved myself, right? So since your records are written in phrases, images, or energetic vibrations, giving power to your words is a great way to write the records of your life. So this includes thoughts about others as well, thoughts about our environment, work situation, and the world itself. Peaceful thoughts generate peaceful emotions. Another important way you write your present records. So now we're going to talk about present records dealing with emotion because they are just as important as our thoughts, right? So our emotions are the strongest components in both your record creation and the quality of your life. That emotional quality speaks volumes about you. So it's important to look honestly at the present emotional records that you're writing. Living in dread, hopelessness, chronic frustration clearly etches a far different emotional record than optimism or fun or joyous expectation. But no matter what life has dealt you so far, it's important to know that you have the power to live from your heart and know that good things can and will come your way. If you choose to look for the good that has already come your way and consider the potential for happiness every day. So always remember, you do have the power to change your thoughts and thereby change the emotions in your present records. The quality of your life is created minute by minute and day by day, not in the big or special events that you may be hoping for, but in the little everyday moments, in the choices of appreciation, relaxation, happiness, and hope. Where your Akashic records are concerned, each choice to navigate the options of trust, faith, and peace of mind is a defining moment for you, right? I need to stop saying right. I noticed I say right too much. Right, right. But it is. And it's easier said than done. When I started looking at the way that I talk to myself, I had no idea how many words I used. If I made a mistake, oh, that was stupid. Oh, you're stupid, or this or that. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not stupid, right? Just made a mistake. So, like, you have to consciously make an effort to pay attention to it. and then reframe that, right? Reframe the thought or reframe the word into something that's taken it from this negative connotation to something that has a more positive kind of spin on it or a more grateful spin on it. So, present records of behavior. So, what you do every day and how you do. What do you do every day and how do you do it? There are certain things that each of us do every day, like eat and sleep, right? Maybe watch TV or read a paper, get on the internet, well, social media now, text or communicate with friends or family. These are all behaviors that are part of our everyday lives. For some, other things like exercising, meditating, right, listening to music, gaming are added to our daily repertoire. So, how much, however, do you bring your consciousness to these activities? Some of these things are done without much awareness at all, such as eating and perhaps overeating. But a lack of consciousness in your daily behaviors creates almost as much momentum in your records as your thoughts and emotions do. And the power of your unchecked behaviors can build like a rolling river heading toward the roar of a pounding waterfall waiting to pull you down somewhere in the records of your future. So take some time to consider the patterns of your behavior. We don't have to be perfect. None of us are going to be perfect, right? There is no such thing as perfect. I hate the word perfect or normal because there is no such thing, right? But you do have to start evaluating what behavioral choices honor you, right? There it is again, right. Then muster up the courage, strength, and self mastery to make the honoring choice. And it doesn't have to be all day long, right? It can be one choice that you made today to honor yourself. Not doesn't have to be these huge things, right? Most of the time it's these small little things. It's saying yes. I am going to take 10 minutes and go meditate on Insight Timer. I'm going to take 10 minutes for myself. And whatever my mood is today, that's kind of what I'm going to gravitate towards, right? Or whatever I'm drawn to, or the teachers that I like. It's making these conscious choices about what we're going to do, what our actions are going to be. And when you do that, you're going to find vastly different record results than if you had persisted in unhealthy present behaviors. And I can literally attest to that for the past like 3 days of my friggin' life. I do not think I've turned the TV on once. I have literally, I'm not saying I haven't done anything, right? I'm still playing my Monopoly Go because I probably got a problem with that. I like my Monopoly Go, right? I'm still playing a game here or there, but I'm not mindlessly doing it. I'm limiting kind of my time to it. And instead of throwing on music, or putting on TV, I just sat. And the things that have happened in the past 3 days are ungodly, especially yesterday with Lionsgate Portal and a full moon. There was a whole bunch of shit happening in this house. Like, I had a whole ceremony. My dad was here. I kind of stepped through another threshold. If I had been mindlessly watching TV, would that have happened? I don't know. It might have, but more than likely, it might not have because I would be unconsciously just staring at the TV. Does that mean you never can turn on the TV and watch TV ever again? Of course not. Of course not, right? That's not really realistic. If we like TV, we're going to watch TV. But it's taking in that moment, I was like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do right now? Because I live with other people, so I don't get a house alone often, and I was like, I'm going to sit in silence. I'm tired of noise. I don't want anything. I don't want to hear TV. I don't want to hear music. The only thing I want to hear is the cats meowing. That's all I want to hear. And from that, these things happen that I then had a conscious choice. What are we going to do about it? Right. So, present records of action. So, this is what we're talking about. Of course, any behavior you engage in requires some sort of action. So, in that way, these two items are related, behaviors and actions. It takes action to exercise. People come into me, therapy clients all the time come in with lack of motivation. And they're like, oh, how do I solve my motivation? I'm like, you are not going to like my answer. Take the action. And they look at you like, well, if I could take the action, I wouldn't be coming to you. And I'm like, I know. And that's the hardest part. Action creates motivation, right? It does, unfortunately. So it takes action to exercise, to eat healthily, to choose optimistic thoughts, to spend your time in a beneficial way. These and many more present actions need to be chosen when creating these wonderful present and future records, right? It would be impossible to achieve our goals without taking some action, right? A step, a small step in that direction. So, whether you want to build a business, make a sale, write a book, certain steps have to be taken all along the way. You can't just jump to you're a published author, right? It's the same thing with this. It's the same day. Same day. It's the same thing with this and how we're approaching our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors, and our actions every day. It's that one small step. So, and your action might change depending on the type of goal or the phase that you're in, but you are likely to need real consistent action nonetheless. If you want your future records to say success, your present records must say action. It's like why, this has changed a little bit now, but way back when, the law of attraction is a wonderful thing. Manifesting is a wonderful thing, but you can't just manifest it, right? You can't just law of attract it, right? I want this and this and this, and then expect it to just fall in your lap. Well, it's not going to. You still have to be taking some action to bring that into you for the universe, your guides, your counsel to say, okay, they're manifesting it, they're doing law of attraction, they're doing all the things that they're doing, but they're also taking the steps. Okay, they're ready. So that's really important. So our soul came here with specific intentions: healing, peace, love, and self mastery. They require specific actions. That's why each and every one of you are on this app, right? For whatever your personal reason is for being on the app. Being on this app right now is a specific action that you took. That's the one small, maybe multiple step you took today, but that's at least the one small step that you took today to rewrite that present record, right? Or have more control over your thoughts, behaviors, actions, emotions today. So you also have a unique gift that you alone can bring to this life. So maybe it's a service or scientific discovery, artistic creation, entertainment, logistics, analytical skills, doesn't matter. But each and every one of us has something that we were supposed to bring here. So perhaps it's something more personal, just like being a wonderful parent. Um, Whatever your purpose is, make sure you take some action toward it now. To see the results of achievement in your records come, write the records of present action now. Hi, Danny. So good to see you. Right, take a sip of my tea. All right, present records of spirit. So we also have this eternal identity. The part of us that chose to come to this life experience is a major source of our energy production. In fact, it can be the strongest part a lot of times, and it can write records of unlimited power. The problem is that most people don't see this wonderful side of themselves, nor do they turn to it when working on their personal life or their goals. Many of you probably do because we're meeting on meeting on Insight Timer. But there's a whole world of power available to you in the energy of your spirit. So if you learn how to utilize that power now, you will energize your present and accelerate your ability to create an undeniably dynamic destiny in your future reality. Your soul knows no limit of time. Your spirit can traverse space and eternity in the blink of an eye. It's easy for your spirit to go forward, to plant the seeds of your future in the energetic realm, and to write your desired results in the universal records. When you bring the records of your spirit to every moment and every intention, you make anything possible. I can't remember who told me this, but somebody was talking to me about how deja vu is when your timelines converge and you have a conscious choice where you can either stay in this timeline or you can hop like to the next timeline. And I would believe it because we all have multiple timelines running at the same time. And the choices that we're making excuse me, the choices that we're making are the ones that are putting us on our different timelines. So recording your energy in the present moment. Your spirit has a much larger and longer perspective on your life. Your soul does not see your problems as difficult or even troublesome. It sees these events as a piece of the mosaic that creates the picture of your eternal records. The soul's vision sees the finer nuances that make up your present life: the beauty of a golden sunset, the caress of a gentle breeze, the fragrance of a blossoming rose, the music in a baby's laugh, and the bouquet in a sip of wine. All of these are just some of the events that your soul basks in with deep appreciation. While you may tend to focus only on the tough stuff, your soul sees every piece of the experience we call life from a far different point of view. Each and every moment is brimming with life and possibility. Joy is a blessing, and adversity is just another opportunity, even adventure, in the span of life. The soul's intention is to enjoy the pleasures that it appreciates, but to also use the powerful opportunities available at every moment, good, bad, or in between. And the reality is that you are writing your records in every experience, in every present moment. And those present records roll into your future realities now and for lifetimes to come. So many people dismiss the present while they're waiting for something special to happen in the future. Yet the truth is, the real special time is now. The most special moment is here. This is the moment that you have the power to choose what you think, what you feel, what you believe, and what you do. It's all within this precious, powerful moment. And even a little shift in your choices now can create dramatic changes in your eternal records. For in every moment, no matter what may or may not be going on, there is always the presence of unending adjacent possibilities. Again, it's what I tell my therapy clients. I'm like, the only thing that we truly have control over is this present moment right now, the one you have right now in this moment. We get so stuck sometimes in the past, right? We get stuck in the past, we get worried about the future, all the things, but we can't change the past and we can't predict the future. But what we can do is take actions to influence the future. And that's what they're teaching us with this is we can influence our future by the choices that we're making today with our thoughts, with our emotions, with our behaviors, and with our actions. So, how do we find these adjacent possibilities? So, in science, nature, industry, and even economics, the complexity theory demonstrates how various systems form and evolve over time. So, within this theory, there's a concept known as adjacent possibilities, which reveals that at any moment, even a slight change in the process or the environment can take the entire system in vastly different directions. Believe it or not, this applies to us as well. So, you have endless adjacent possibilities and countless options at any moment. Even minor changes in any given moment can take your life in a brand new direction. No matter what's happening, your life is special and it's expressing itself in every single minute. How you respond to it is up to you. You can create a different thought, choose a new behavior, and write a different record. This, of course, calls for you to bring your consciousness to the present moment, even in the most mundane activities, like I was just talking about. In fact, it's in the routine moments that fill our records the most. Our daily emotions and responses usually become unconscious habits. If we get caught in traffic, we can get frustrated or even angry, but we have many adjacent possibilities sitting in that very next moment. We could stay in our anger and frustration, or we could take a deep breath and relax. We could put on our favorite music and sing along, or glance at the environment around us and take pleasure in the colors of the sky. We could recall a happy memory, think about a favorite vacation spot, or smile at the thought of a beloved friend or family member. These are just a few of the adjacent possibilities that are available to you at any time. When you make an alternative beneficial choice, you change your energy, your records, and even your life. Remaining conscious of these options and building new habits around these honoring and peaceful possibilities will immediately create new joyous records for you now, leading your future records in surprising new directions. And even the little momentary changes can be connected to big events. For example, your personal records at this time may indicate that you're likely to stay at your present job for the rest of your working life. Ew, not mine. But that could change what you're doing, thinking, or feeling right now. The record of this moment, this hour, this day could have the power to change that outcome to a lesser or greater degree. Almost everything depends on your present energy direction. Your new personal record is written out of your consciousness and energy shifts, creating results that may not have seemed likely based on your energy from just a few days ago or even hours or moments ago. Think about it. The power in this truth is utterly liberating. You can take hold of your thoughts, your self talk, your choices, your actions, and even your emotions right now. Change your present records right now and your future destiny too. If you would have told me, God, how long have I been a teacher now? A year and a month or so? A year, if a year and a half ago, if you would have told me in what are we in August 2025, you would be hosting lives, recording behind you on a screen to, post on other places and leading all these lives on Insight Timer and doing all this stuff, I would be like, who? Me? Not me. Not me. Because back then I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in myself. I still had doubts. I still had issues of worth and value. I still hadn't reclaimed my voice, all the things. And it took small steps, small steps, small steps. Being a user of this app, just like each and every one of you are, being a user of the app, going on my own journey, doing my own work, doing all of these things, all of these things. All of it changed my future records. And now I'm sitting here on the other side of the screen instead of attending the live. Now I'm hosting the live. And that's what it's talking about is these small steps, these small actions that we take. It can have an impact. It does change our future records. It does. So this is an example. It is a long-winded example, but this is a long-winded example from the book. But I'm going to read it to you because she's talking about some things that she taught this person. So a moment changed, a life rewritten. I taught the following technique of writing present records to a client of mine who used it to change some significant issues she was experiencing due to menopause. In addition to dealing with weight gain, which seemed impossible to get rid of, she was also experiencing some very difficult bouts of depression. This was something that she had been unaccustomed to, and there were times when it was totally overwhelming to her. She realized that she was creating present records of chronic depression and unhappiness, and she knew that energy would lead to future records containing more of the same. So she started to ask herself, what do I want to record in this instant? Just asking herself this reminded her that she did have the option to shift her focus and take control. Instead of riding the familiar wave of depression, she was determined to use the power of adjacent possibilities rather than being ruled by her hormones. Ooh, oops. And although it sometimes seemed too much to change, she had increasing success in making this record shift. Shirley would notice when her mood was getting dark. Then she would actually identify the minute of time, declaring what she wanted to experience, saying something like, it's 10:59 on April 4th, and I am recording something this very minute. What do I want to record? She would smile just at the thought of being able to make a difference. Then she would think any one of a dozen thoughts that brought her happiness, and she affirmed that she had changed the record of that moment and brought herself happiness too. The more moments she did this, the greater the momentum of her joyous energy. Excuse me. Eventually, a greater happiness took hold in her life, significantly liberating her from a difficult pattern she thought she'd been stuck in for a long time. After succeeding at making countless momentary changes in mood, she decided to work on her desired weight loss using the same approach. When eating her meals or binging on late night snacks, she would stop and ask herself, what am I recording in this moment, in this choice? When she recognized the times that she was deepening her old records of addiction and unconscious behavior, she stopped and affirmed, right now, I choose to record strength, record change, and record the ability to let go. This gave her the power to change the behavior then and there. She would then take just a moment to visualize the change in her big record book, along with the statement, at this moment, Shirley happily made the choice to stop eating. Each of these experiences inscribed new records in her life, and seeing them in her mind's eye made her feel empowered, more hopeful, and more in control than ever before. There were times, however, when she forgot to intervene. If she realized too late, she would again visualize herself writing it in her life record book, this time saying that she forgave herself and knew she was capable of getting stronger and stronger. Even this new vision of placing self love and self forgiveness in her eternal records seemed to shift her feelings and bring a greater peace to her heart. These two experiments were so successful that Shirley thought she would use the process to shift her whole relationship with food. She had been in the habit of eating for no reason, stuffing down a lot of food without being really aware of what the experience felt like. But she knew that wasn't healthy or spiritually driven. So she added some other new approaches to create new patterns and to record a healthy attitude towards food. She started when she woke up in the morning, taking a few minutes to think about the day ahead and recording a brief image of her mealtime activities. She saw herself eating slowly and consciously enjoying the experience. She then placed these images on the screen of her present records, often even putting a time and date stamp on the film as she saw it play out. Then, as she went through the day and it came time to eat, she would stop for a few moments and think of the image she had recorded on her screen. She also took a moment to record a new intention in her life book saying, I eat slowly and consciously, feeling the pleasure and appreciation of the food I am eating. She would then record the heartfelt desire to sit leisurely at her kitchen table and be more deliberate and aware. She enjoyed this new sensation, eating slowly instead of just stuffing everything down without any presence in her body or gratitude in her heart. She found she now had a different relationship with food and a different sense of her own power, as well as the liberty to employ it. It took a while, but Shirley eventually lost most of the weight she had gained. Her depression lifted too, and whenever she found herself returning to the old feelings and behaviors, she simply stopped to record a new moment of thought or behavior, posting it directly in her personal record book. She always remembered her adjacent possibilities, knowing that if she created new records in her personal life now, it would lead to wonderful feelings of strength and a magnetic resonance that would fill her records with happiness in the future. Well, for the second week in a row, I'm being tested during this live. So there's no such thing as coincidences, right? No such thing as coincidences. So when I was sitting with Rick Hansen after the first week, again, not that it isn't a really good book, It's wonderful, but I was like, this is not the energy that I'm in now. This is not the energy that I'm in. If we're going to read a book, like the first book we read was The Four Agreements. They were amazing. And I was like, Rick Hansen, great, but not where I'm at. Where am I at? Where am I at? So I sat, Akashic Records came. Up until last week, everything's been fine, but a lot has changed in my personal life too. So literally last week during the live, for any of you that were there, I was voice was fine up until I was getting ready to take everybody to their the guided meditation, to their hall, their Akashic Records hall, where they were going to go in with their kind of question, their area, and try to learn where they came from, right? Voice cracks. I get that scratchy feeling in the throat, when you like need to like almost like cough, like it coughing almost that you want to like, you know, and I realized that it was a test because I had brought up a past record when I was giving examples, and I was like, oh, yeah, you identified that record, but you know what? You never rewrote that record either. So I was like, oh crap. And I was like, all right. I'm like, well, I can't go on through this meditation with my voice like this. What am I going to do? And like I did rewatch the live last night. And I wanted to rewatch it before I posted it. And I rewatched it because I was like, let me see if you can see the panic, that was going on in my brain when that happened. And you couldn't. You couldn't because it was such a split-second thing. Like you see me put the thing in the book and me kind of lean up, and then you see me be like, no, we got this. Nope, we're not running away. We're not pausing it. We're not going to go cough. We got this. And I sit back, calling Archangel Michael, doing all the things. And I'm like, all right, this is a test. So I'm able to get through it. My voice is kind of up and down, but not enough that it like disrupted the meditation. And I tell everybody about it. So I was like, all right. So when we get to the next guided meditation where I take them to rewrite the record, and I'm like, well, I'm going to have to do it too. So I'm like, how in the hell do I do this when I'm running a live? So I was like, all right. So I was like fully present, paying attention, leading everybody on the guided meditation. In the beginning, my voice started, and I was like, no, 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 we're getting ready to rewrite the record. So I'm reading all the things, doing all the things, and in my mind, I'm doing it myself. So a couple times at the beginning of this live, because this is one of the huge things that I have just walked through, is I've had several lifetimes of being silenced, being murdered for speaking my voice, being a healer, being spiritual. We're crossing these major thresholds, and the one yesterday was major, and it tried to get me after because they test you. Are you really going to walk the walk, right? What we're talking about right now, the small steps with thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and actions. That is how, I don't want to say test, but it is, right? That's how they test to see if you really mean it when you're rewriting your records and when you're making these invocations and making these statements. And the throat was coming up again. So that was another reason I didn't turn on TV last night, because I was like, no, 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 we've got to thoroughly sit with this. We've got to clear all the stuff that's trying to hold on, that is trying to see if there's a way back in to silence my voice. And there's not. There's not. There's not. So I'm literally reading this, talking about her time stamping, and I feel it coming in, and I'm like, mm-mm, mm-mm. So I look down at the time, and in my mind, I'm reading to you guys, and in my mind, I'm going, mm-mm. Veil poke recognized, not acknowledged. Well, we acknowledged it, but like veil poke recognized, trying to see if there's any way in. Voice got a little scratchy. Nope. Sit up straighter. Make sure your back straight. 'Cause that was one of the things my guide said. Girl, get your shoulder up. Because my shoulder was learning last night. She's like, girl, get that shoulder up. Spine straight. Shoulders back. Aligned. Equally aligned. You got this. There is no way to come back in. So it doesn't matter where you are on your journey. It doesn't matter who you are on your journey. We all still have the work to do. And these are the things I'm talking about. I am hosting a live, but I am still present in this moment. I still recognize that that was what was going on in this moment. And even though words are coming out of my mouth and I'm talking to you guys, I'm still doing that myself in my head. Because if I don't acknowledge it, or if I let fear creep up and go, "Oh, again, really? How many times are you going to test me on this?" They're probably going to test me a lot on that. They probably are, because I have a lot of big things coming, and they need my voice to be unshakable. They need my voice to be unwaverable. They need to know that I've paid attention. They need to know that I'm walking the walk in my present records and making the choices that are aligning with the future of where I'm going to be. And that's what they want. That is what they're asking us to do too. So, like I said, this week we do not have a guided meditation, but it's an exercise. So, what she is asking you to do is pay attention, right? Becoming conscious of your personal adjacent possibilities. That can hugely accelerate your ability to take your power back, redirect the present and future records of your life. So, if you can consciously and purposefully write the records of this moment and any moment you desire. You can also write about any activity you're engaged in, whether it's during this moment or planned for an hour ahead or the day in front of you. All it takes is a few seconds with clear intention and keeping open to your options and your personal power. So, hi everyone. Allergies. Yes, we're on a path to remember the truth for us, the core of us. Yes, April. And yes, I do have allergies too. And that was another thing that I had said to myself is every single time your voice, I had this conversation earlier in the week. So thank you for bringing that up. So I can bring that up too. April is I do have allergies. A lot of people who are spiritual have chronic sinus issues, because when we're getting these things, crown and third eye chakra, we're clearing out these old energies. They form a natural pocket for things to sit until you can kind of clear it out, right? So I do have chronic allergy problems, and I also had to remind myself of that. And I was like, okay, just because you feel a tickle in your throat, it isn't some test, right? It's because you got damn allergies. It's because your sinuses are finally draining, and we're really happy about that. It's the discernment. It's knowing when it is and when it isn't, right? So I had coughed a few times earlier and it wasn't a big deal, but it felt different than this. The reason this was a big deal is because it was presenting exactly how it did last week during a live, when I'm in front of people, when I'm speaking my voice, right? So, let me actually get up real quick. And I didn't have the door fully shut. My roommate just got home. Oh, all right. So, yes. So, every single thing in life isn't a test, right? Every single thing. Every scratchy throat isn't a test. It's not. It's the moments, right? It's paying attention to the moments. If I am speaking my truth and I'm not being heard or validated, or, um, if I'm in a group, uh, that isn't maybe open to what I'm saying, or even if I am in a group that's open, like you all are open, we're here on Insight Timer, right? But it still was testing. They're like, all right, you're on this platform. People all over the world are on this platform, just got rated #1 on New York Times. So, more people are probably coming to it. This is an outlet for your voice, right? This is an outlet. Are you going to be able to stay strong? Are you going to recognize if something is coming in and is trying to silence you again, right? Yeah, April says, if I'm not being heard, I walk away, take a cold shower. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what we have. And that's you making the conscious choice, right? The conscious choice not to get angry, not to argue with them, right? It's making the conscious choice to take a step back, take a cold shower, right? Water is amazing. Water's clearing, right? It's washing away all that energy, all that energy. All right. So here are the steps she says for writing the records of the present moment. So take some time to identify your present record patterns. What are the thoughts, beliefs, and even words you'd like to shift to a more loving, honoring, empowered, or optimistic viewpoint? So really look at your patterns in your life with your thoughts, with your behaviors, with your emotions. Sorry, thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and actions. So, what are those things that you'd like to shift to more loving, honoring, empowered, or optimistic? What emotional patterns would you like to change? So, in other words, what are some of the patterns that you would like to rewrite? Jot these things down in your record journal in order to prepare for the process of changing your present records. So she's saying before you start your day, consider your potential opportunities for writing a new record. Because most of us have things to do, right? We have careers, we have school, work. Some of us have families, some of us don't have families, but most of us all have things that we have to do in a day. And we know most of the time what we have to do. Or even if we don't have anything to do, we know we don't have anything to do, right? So we know kind of at the beginning of the day, what are the things we have to take care of that day, or where do we have time where we don't have to do anything. So you're looking at where there is a potential to rewrite a new record. So each moment of self-actualized choice is another instance where you can change your record. So bringing a deeper sense of your own personal power to this process, knowing that you can record at least a single moment of change. Mariah, this is Akashic Records Made Easy by Sandra Anne Taylor. So, and then whenever possible, identify a moment of potential change and ask yourself, what do I want to record in this moment? What behavior, what thought, or what choice do I want to be placed in my eternal records right now? And then breathe deeply and take a moment to visualize yourself engaging in that new choice. And visualize yourself writing that choice in your personal record book. Then let yourself take the specific action that supports that choice in that moment. So, whether it's changing a thought or engaging in a different behavior, see yourself doing it and then actually do it, right? Actually do it if you're able to. Sometimes we might not be able to in that exact moment, but if you're able to, do it. If you're not able to do it in that actual moment, you can still record it, but then do it as soon as you possibly can. So you want to affirm the emotion that you're recording in this new choice. So, for example, right now I'm recording strength. Right now I'm recording optimism or peace or honoring, right? Dignity, grace, the ability to let go, whatever it is, recording that new choice. And then just smile, relax, take a moment to affirm and appreciate yourself and for the change that you've made. Know that every single moment counts, right? You can do this exercise in any instant of record creation, but you can also do it in anticipation of some particular time to come. So, for instance, when you take a few moments at the beginning of the day to visualize your day ahead, especially consider the times or situations that may be challenging for us, because most of us all have them, right? Because we all don't live alone, isolated from others. So, this creates an awareness of the records you want to create in that situation. And it's a reminder that you have the power to change at any time. So, this is kind of the ultimate empowerment. When you bring your consciousness to life, your life will change. So, say you have a meeting at work with your boss. Who really likes those, right? Nobody. So, I know I have a meeting with my boss at, lunchtime today, and I'm anticipating it's not going to go well, right? Well, I'm going to go ahead and write a record for that. And I'm already going to write a record that no matter what is said to me in that meeting, good, bad, or indifferent, I am going to leave with strength, with power, and no self-doubt, right? I am strength, I am power, whatever it is. So we can kind of do that too. So our present records are always evolving. always ready to be changed. They are vital, living representations of the power and choice in our life. Whether you notice an opportunity to record a new direction now, make the choice to define your moment. Sorry, whenever you notice an opportunity to record a new direction now, make the choice to redefine your moment. The lure of old habits may tempt you to repeat the unwanted stuff because it does, right? It's easier because we're on autopilot, right? Because it's what we're used to doing. But you can muster up the will, the courage, or just the self-discipline to seize the moment. Call upon the power of your spiritual team, your guides, to help you make the change. However you do it, know that each and every present record change, even if just for a single moment, writes something new, something strong, something that will plant your eternal records with the seeds of value, purpose, and profound happiness. I normally call my team. They don't come from subconscious, but they get ingrained in that when we do it over and over and over again. So that's literally what I did last week. When throat started going, I was like, whoop, Archangel Michael, need you, friend. Come on down here. Put a protective layer over my throat right now. Put that golden light over my throat. Call in our team. They want us. They want us. They want us to. They want to help us. They're there and they want to help us. So, all right. So that's pretty much the end, everybody. So next week, chapter 8 is when we really get into working in the realm of the spirit. It's where we talk about angels and guides, angels and their expertise, and introducing you, if you don't already know, which I feel like most of us probably already know, but introducing us to the different archangels and what exactly, what qualities they have, or kind of what their strengths and path is, to know kind of which one to call on in different moments. So we're going to get Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Chamuel, Ariel, Uriel, and Metatron. And then how spirit guides to the Akashic Records, because I can't even talk. Akashic Records also have their guides. So they have teacher guides, past life guides, ascended masters, Christ, Buddha, all kinds of things. So that's really getting into developing your team, right? Developing who, if you're having moments of struggle, implementing these things, changing the present day, right? Changing the present day. We're struggling, stuck in the stuff. Those are the people that we can call in that can help us navigate that. Sometimes we don't, right? Sometimes we might not feel powerful. Sometimes we might not have the strength, but you're asking me to say that I do. Okay, well, I'm going to say that I do, but then Archangel Michael, come on down, right? Archangel Michael, please assist me and guide me in feeling the strength and power right now. So all kinds of things we can do. So if anybody didn't have any questions or comments or anything, so these are recorded and they will be uploaded. You can go to my teacher profile on Insight Timer, go to my About section, and all the way down to the bottom to my link tree to find more information. So we have a few chapters left. Actually, I'm like, don't go through the book. Just go to the table of contents. Like, work smarter, not harder. So we have 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 4 chapters left. So if this was your first time here and you really like the book, sorry, we are clearing now. That's not a test. That's clearing sinuses. If you really like the book and you want to go back and listen to previous chapters, those are available to do. If not, we will be back here next Saturday at 7:33 p.m. and we will read chapter 8 and really dive into the spirit guide and archangel world. All right, everyone. So good to see everybody today. You're very welcome, Christine. So good to see everybody. If it is your night, I hope you have a good night. Oh, Angela, I didn't know you were here. Hey, Angela, so good to see you. If it's your night, I hope you have a good night. If it's your day, I hope you have a good day. And I will see you all again soon. Sure. She look like a kid though.
Ow.